Did you guys see the video in the news?
We're on. Okay, we're on Chaf Amid Beis. Chaf Amid Beis. Welcome to Triangle. Stavra Chav 11 Tafsu B'Kiddushin. That if we have some kind of Reuven is married to a woman who falls to Shimon where there's a lav where there's an Isser lav, not an Isser erva, even though he was over the Aveira, the Kiddushin is Toifus. But Chavi Krifis loy tafsu B'Kiddushin. That doesn't work by ervas that are where there's a chiv cards. Nosif Rava, Isser mitzvah, Isser Kiddushin. You have, like we said, Shnias Midrabana, grandmother, great-grandmother, or Kohen marrying a Grusha, that's called Isser Kedusha. So Bo Aleha, if one of the brothers, even though they have that Isser, was Miyabim her, or Cholatzla, or gave her Chlitza, Nifter et Sarasa. If there was a co-wife, the Tzara is pattered as well. Like we answered before, we were answering, why doesn't the Nasei of Yibum Doicha Lota say, unless they coin Grusha? Because we said by Chave Lavin, it's only Chlitza, not Yibum. But if that's the case, Yibum Laranya, Kibola, my Nifter Tzarasa, if the Yibum doesn't work, why should the Tsar be Potter? So, who Moisif Lava, who Mafarik? Well, let's start in Ktani. It's not. Each case is different. Referred to Isser Mitzvah is only Shnias Midrabanan. Mina Torah, the Kiddushin is fine. And therefore, that's why the Yibum Patters the Tzara. Cholatz law, because that's Chavi Lavin. That's a real lav of the Torah, Isser Kedusha, like Kohen Lagrusha. That's not Midrabanan. And that fulfills what we're saying, that by Chavi Lavin, it's only for Chlitza and not for Yibum. Mosif Rava, Psuadaka, somebody who has a testicle removed, both of his testicles removed by surgery, which clearly is a Psuadaka. Someone's had a vasectomy. The Psuadaka. Lo Yavok Psuadaka B'Kal Hashem. That's the name of the sefer I produced, Kal Hashem, because Kal Hashem. That's like if the urethra is damaged. Tris Adam, again, that falls under the category of Tzuadaka. Somebody who was castrated by human beings, for example, by an or Hazaken, a 100-year-old man who basically can't function sexually anymore. So in these cases, it says whether the brother who died was a psuadaka, or whether the brother who was going to do yibum, we say ketza. Mesu, these people, Reuven and Shimon. Reuven was a psuadaka, and he died. The lahem achim, and Shimon has brother. There's a brother, and he has a wife. Lahem nashi. The amdu achim. Also, Maimer ben Yishosei, and Shimon did Maimer to the widow of Reuven. Vinosnu get, and then maybe gave her a get, or v'choltz gave a chlip. In all these cases, Masha also they have halachic validity. The imbalu kanu, and if they did they're koina. Similar to Mesu Achim.
Talking about a Pesua Daka that he knew the Chadchila, or he became Pesua Daka during their marriage. We learned before that if he was a Pesua Daka, there's not even the Kedushin is not even a Kedushin. We learned that before.
No, we didn't. A Pesua Daka is only a lav, so there would be Chalos and Kiddushin, not an erva. So there would be Chalos and Kiddushin.
Because we said if he knew about it, they make a chilik between.
That's an islandness. That's an islandness.
Oh.
That's islandness. Not so. We haven't dealt with Tzuadaka yet.
Okay, yeah.
So Mesu Achim was a normal man and Shimon was a P'tua Daka. V'omdu hein v'asu Ma'ir ben Shasei v'nasu Gedosh Shechotzu, Masha asu v'balu kanu. V'asu l'kaimen. Now, Bezdin's going to force a divorce. Yishum shenemer lo yavo P'tua Daka b'kal Hashem. V'yisal gedai techai v'lavin midaraisa l'chlitza ramya liyubim lo ramya. That if the chayve lavin are only open for chlitza, not for yibum, then imbalu ma'mai kanu. Why should the be'ila create a kinyan? So, Omer Rava, we are going back to our question. An almana to a kohen gadol min hanesuin. So there's an asay. She's not a besula, so you violated an asay. And she's an almana, so you violated a lav. So the asay of yibum, that the mitzvah asay of yibum cannot override the combination of the asay and the lot asay. But an almana minan kiddushin, where she's still a besula, there's only the lav of almana. So let the asay of yibum come and override the lav of almana. So Amar Rava, almana min irusin nami asay v'lo tasay. Even in almana min irusin, there's an asay and a lo tasay. Why? Ichsiv k'doishim yiyu l'lokeya. That's an asay to be kadosh. Freit the gemor mamzeres u'nesina Michael Amini. Now you're not allowed to marry a mamzeres. So why shouldn't the asay of yibum override the lo asay of mamzeres? Because see, these kadishtem. So it also says that you shall be sanctified. So there's an asay and lo tasay there as well. So the Gemara says, every mitzvah in the Torah would be a combination. Every asay, every lo tasay in the Torah would be considered a combination of an asay and lo tasay because it says vizkadishtem. So that can't be an answer. Otherwise, we would never have an asay being doich lo tasay. We know we have that. By tzitzis, you have it overrides shatnez. By mila, it overrides tzaras. We're back to the question: why can't the kohen gadol? Somebody have their microphone on because I can hear something in the background.
Ernie, it has to be. You sure it's not by you?
It's a radio like.
I have nothing going here.
Somebody should. People should mute themselves. Everybody should mute, please.
Please.
Yeah, it's like a radio in the background.
Right. Mario.
Yes.
Mario, go ahead. Go mute yourself. There's nothing going on in your house?
No.
Okay.
But I'll mute.
Okay. So we're back to the question, why can't a kohen gadol be miyabem in almana mina kiddushin? Elo Amar Rav gzeira almana mina irusin otu almana mina nesuin. It's a rabbinic gzeira. Mina Torah, the kohen gadol is allowed to be miyabem in almana mina irusin. It's just we say he can't because maybe he'll come to be miyabem almana mina nesuin. Frag the Gemara, mamzeres nesina Michael Meimar. So, what kind of gzeira you could have by the mamzeres? So the Gemara says, gzeira b'malka mitzvah to shelo b'malka mitzvah. You might marry the mamzeres shelo b'malka mitzvah, so it's a gzeira by yibum. Well, elameata, if you're going to say that, eishes achiv me aviv lo tisyabim, you shouldn't do yibum to your brother's wife, because that's a brother from the same father. If you have a brother from the same mother, there's no mitzvah yibum there. So maybe we should make a gzeira. So the Gemara says, no, we don't need a gzeira there. Yibum benachla tala rachmana meida yediyah. Everybody knows that yibum is connected to Yerusha, which follows the father. So ask the more isha she'en labani lo tisyabim. we shouldn't do yibum to a woman who's never had children. We should be concerned that maybe a brother will be miyabim an isha that's had banim. The Gemara says, "B'banim talar rachmanim made the idea." Everybody knows that the din of yibum is only if they have no banim. So Reuven and Shimon, who are alive at the same time, and Reuven dies. Maybe Shimon should not do yibum, because maybe Levi will be born, and we would think that Levi, who is an Eshes Sachiv Shalai, he could do yibum too. So Gemara answers, "B'yeshiva tala rachmana made the yada." Everybody knows that only the brothers that are in the world at the same time is there an inyan of yibum. Maybe we should never be miyabim any woman because we're going to come to be miyabim an islandess. The more answers, there's no reason for exer because lo shchicha. Islandess is something that is very rare. So the Gemara says, mamzeres and nesina nami lo shchicha. So maybe there should be no gzeira by mamzeres because those are also rare. So now we've thrown out this whole line. So the question again comes up: why can't a goy and gadol be miyabim and almana min kiddushin? Amarav gzeira bia rishona to bia shnia. Yeah, the first bia that the kohen gadol does with the almana, the asay of yibum will override the lo taseh of almana. But the second bia, there's no mitzvah anymore. So we make a gzeira bia rishona or to bia shnia. That's the answer. That's why kohen gadol, it's a gzeira, cannot be miyabim in almana min kiddushin.
Yeah, but the purpose of living with is to have children. So every deal is pre-rivya to uphold the brother's name. The first one doesn't necessarily get impregnated the first time, but everyone subsequently, he's doing the whole purpose of the.
There's no mitzvah say in the next bias. Only the first time is there a mitzvah.
But what about the mitzvah of Rivia?
With the bia rishoina.
And assuming that she can become pregnant with the bia rishona.
That's the only time that there's a mitzvah by the bia rishoina, whether she becomes pregnant or whether she doesn't become pregnant.
But the whole purpose is to marry her, is to become pregnant, right?
But it's only the first bia where there's a mitzvah yibum. The second bia doesn't have the mitzvah. Only the first bia does, regardless of the pregnancy status.
Okay.
In Boalu, Konabu bia rishoina. In all these cases, he acquires her with the bia rishoina. V'asr l'kaimin b'bia shnia. He's not allowed to live with her bia shnia because there's no mitzvah anymore. However, Hadar Amarava Vitem Ravashi Lav Milsa Hidami. That's not correct what was said. Amrish Lakish. Whenever you have an asay and a lotasay battling each other, try to make both. So the Gemara says, doing chlitz is also a mitzvah, and you didn't violate the law. So we tell him to do chlitz, not yibum. It says beferish, he went against the law, and he did the yibum. He's kind of her. So tiyufta, it goes against Reish Lakish. Okay. Itmar. Bias kohen gadol balmon. Shimon is a kohen gadol, and Reuven dies. And this almana falls to Shimon. and Shimon has Shimon has other wives. And the Kohen Gadol, he's not allowed to live with the Almana. But he goes ahead and does B anyways. So he acquires her as the Yevama, as his wife. Now, Bezdin's going to have to step in and force a divorce. But we're asking a different question. Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Elazar Chadamer Eina Poiteres Tsarosa. Does the Bia pater the co-wife of Reuven? Reuven had two wives. So when Shimon lives with the Almana, does it pater the co-wife? What's bothering me is if Reuven died, well, so the other person's going to be an Almana as well. Okay. Question is, maybe we're trying to find out whether the action to one of the wives will pot to the other. One says it won't pot to the tzara because it was a bias isser. So the bias isser is not viewed as a bia that would pot to the tzara. Another says, yeah, even though it's a bias isser, there's chalois kiddushin. So there it would pot to the tzara. Okay, Mario, we're on Chaf Aleph Amud Aleph.